manager at Goddard Riverside. And before we get started today, I just want to give you a few housekeeping tips. Kevin Nathaniel, our beloved host this evening, will tell you as the show goes on when he would like you to mute or unmute as the show goes on, but we'd like everyone to start muted. So on your computer screen, if you see on that bottom banner, there's a microphone icon, and that's how you can mute and unmute yourself by clicking that. It'll have a red cross if you're muted. And we do have Nellie from Goddard Riverside here with us as well, Nellie Gomez, who will be running the tech side of things today. So thank you, Nellie. And we'll be jumping in if there's any feedback or anything like that. So you don't have to be too paranoid about that noise. Second and last thing is we will be in the chat as well. So if you'd like to talk to each other, if you'd like to give messages of support, feedback, feel free to be active in the chat. And we'll also be sharing links throughout the evening of where you can find more material from the artists. So without any further ado, that's enough talking. Let's get to the magical part of the evening. So without any further ado, everyone, Kevin Nathaniel and Afro Roots.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda. Okay, let's see. Maybe the video will pin me or spotlight me right quick. I'm gonna see if I can do that. Actually, I can't do that. But Amanda, go ahead and spotlight me.
Yes, Nellie, can we do that?
Yes, you're spotlighted.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Why is it? Wait a minute. Why is it that I'm not seeing it spotlighted from here? You're seeing it spotlighted?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to roll with that.
You go up, and this is a good tip for everyone actually. If you go up into the right corner of your screen, and if you see a grid of squares, you should be able to toggle between speaker view and gallery view. So if you're not seeing speaker view, if Kevin or anyone, it might be because you're in gallery view and you're seeing those Brady Bunch squares.
Great. Well, I'm definitely in speaker view.
Okay.
So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out to Afro Roots tonight. It's a very special night, and we are very excited, super excited, to be bringing Malesha Jessie Taylor tonight. Malesha is, as I described, an extraordinary singer. I've had the occasion to work with her before, and I was, in each case, always blown away by her range and the power of her voice, and her spirit, the spirit behind it all. So it's really special for us to be able to bring her here to Afro Roots tonight. She's one of those people who you feel that as a universal spirit. You can imagine her coming from any number of places because she has a universal spirit. You know, when I first met her, I was quite sure that she was Zulu. I was quite sure of that. To find out later that she was not Zulu, but maybe, who knows, right? But the sound is what really impressed me so much. And so we had to invite her here for Afro Roots. And she isn't living in New York City. So that's one of the beautiful things about Afro Roots being on Zoom now, is that we're able to work with artists who are living in other parts of the world. Afro Roots, was in Zimbabwe about 2 weeks ago. And tonight, I think we're in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's really incredible for us to be able to move around and work with these incredible artists who are living in various parts of the world and bring them into the New York community and expand this community to a larger format. I want to thank some people first and foremost. Of course, I want to thank Amanda Hopper, who you met at the beginning. Amanda Hopper is with Goddard Riverside, and she's doing a lot of the organizations to help us bring Afro Roots and all these other programs that Goddard Riverside brings to people. So I thank Amanda Hopper. I want to thank Susan Macaluso. Susan Macaluso is retired, but she was the director of Goddard Riverside, and she is the one who brought Afro Roots Tuesdays to Goddard Riverside in 2013. We were down at the Yippie Cafe where we began, on Bleecker Street, and we lost that space, and we were looking around for space, and Susan Macaluso said, "Bring the whole thing here." So we brought the whole thing to God Riverside and have been there since, as a live music, world music, universal music series that happens every other week right there at God Riverside. Now almost every venue, I would say not almost every venue, it isn't almost, it is every venue that is for live music, live performance, live events to bring people together is still shut down here in New York City. So in the meantime, we're still trying to keep the ball rolling and keep the arts flowing because, as I've said before, the arts should be expanded. We need the arts because the arts are the engine of our ideas. So we can't allow a situation to exist where the arts are not available, where the arts are being, for some reason or other, shelved or put to the side. And we can't allow for anyone to call arts non-essential because arts are not, they are the essential. They are the essential thing. So we as a people have to really make that a very clear statement, a clear understanding that we will have to have the arts. It will have to exist. It will have to thrive. And I encourage all of you to lend your voice to that. I also want to thank Nelly Gomez. Nelly Gomez is doing a lot of the tech work. I just found out she's a tech expert. So this is great to know. Nelly Gomez, thank you so much. She's on the scenes here, and she's running a lot of the tech tonight. She's with God at Riverside. And I want to thank any and all the people that have donated their energy, their time, their money to the series to keep it floating and keep it rolling. We've had an opportunity, an option for people to donate $1 a month. And we've had several people take that option to donate $1 a month. And it really helps. It really helps. Any little bit helps because we have expenses all the time to keep this series running. We've embarked on this series on a major project of, as you know, we were in Zimbabwe with Zoom 2 weeks ago, of helping artists in other parts of the world, great artists who oftentimes have no contact with technology. They don't have computers. They don't have the Zoom accounts, helping them actually establish their Zoom accounts and establish their flow for performing over Zoom and teaching their students over Zoom. And it's really important because these artists, again, are shut out of venues and shut out of touring, shut out of all the other things that were their ways of making a living. So Afro Roots Tuesdays is really about that, especially now, and as well as bringing the arts and connecting people from across the many various nations and imagined divides that we are getting rid of. We're destroying those divides and connecting the world, connecting everybody. So I want to thank all the people that donated. Please continue to tell your friends. And one way to donate is just tell your friends about the series. Tell them about the wonderful music you heard, and post about it and share pictures, because that helps to expand awareness of the series. So we're going to swing into bringing on Malesha soon, but as always, what I do to invite the playful spirits into the Zoom room with us as I play the Mbira Call to Peace. And the Mbira Call to Peace in this case will be with this Mbira. I have many different styles, and I'm gonna play a song called Spirit of Joy. This is for the joyful spirits. joy. Welcome all the joyful spirits. So I want to thank everyone for being here, and please give a warm ululation and mute your microphones as I introduce Malesha Jessie Taylor. Mute, please.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my home here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to begin with a mantra. I'd like this first set to be a moment for us to meditate and to reflect or to journal or to breathe, whatever feels good to you. So if you are an avid meditation person and you want to find your mat or your seat for meditation, I invite you to do so. You may light your sage and prepare your space. And yes, I'll give you a moment to do that while I adjust my mic here. Let's take a deep breath in together and exhale. I am moving. I am moving. I am moving. I am changing. I am moving. I am changing. I am growing. I am live. I am moving. I am growing. I am changing. I am live. I am live. I am live. I am live. I am moving. I am growing. I am changing. I am live. I am moving, I am growing, I am changing, I am live. I am live. I am live. I am live. Ooh. I am moving, I am growing, I am changing, I am life. I am life. I am moving, I am growing, I am changing, I am life. I am. I am. I am.
That was that was very beautiful, Malesha.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
I am still hearing the song. That's the effect. It stays with you when you hear a song being done in this way. I couldn't help but realize in the middle of it that music has such a powerful effect on the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really what the power of what you're doing is, that it's music that stays with you. It keeps cycling around in your memory. It keeps cycling around in the cycles of your thought. It keeps cycling around in your system. It attaches itself to your flow of energy in your body. And so even the flow of your energy remembers that I'm growing. I am. It remembers all that. And it's amazing. What sparked you to move in this way with your music?
Wow. Oh. Oh. Well, what did? I think part of it is I started off in opera and jazz, and most of the time you're depending on a band or an orchestra or a theater or a whole bunch of ensemble members to make a performance. So I went into thinking about how could I actually perform as a soloist by myself as a singer, which is almost never done. And I learned about this loop station or loop technology that I used. And when I got the loop instrument or the technology, I actually got it for an experimental dance class that I was going to vocalize behind a group of dancers. And I felt so liberated in that space of singing behind an improvised group of dancers experimenting with their bodies and doing whatever they wanted. And we would literally just show up, and I would start making sounds, and they would just start responding with their bodies in different shapes and expressions. And it felt so natural for me to be in that space of improvisation. And I had not really explored it very much of my career at all. I just started experimenting and improvising in the last maybe 8 years. And then I started to realize that maybe I could do this as sound meditation. Maybe I could offer this to a yoga community. So, one yoga community here in Atlanta that I was a part of called Sacred Chill, I just took the leap and said, hey, do you guys want to do something where I kind of vocalize in the background while you do yoga? And it wasn't really a thing. Even now, it's not really a thing. I don't know how many singers you see singing like this in yoga, but it's more common to have a sound bath or like chimes or percussion, maybe a cellist, maybe a guitar, or even just an audio play of some song on Spotify. But having a live singer had not. I don't know how many yoga studios do that. So when I introduced the idea to the studio, they kind of had to take a minute to think about what that would look like. Octavia Rahim, who I work with now, who is the co-owner of that studio, was like, let's do stuff. I will conduct a class. I will tell you my poses. And then you do some vocal expression, come up with your own poetic mantras and text and shadow what I'm doing. So we do a dual restorative yoga class with a group called Starshine and Clay. And she'll do a pose and get everyone into a position. And I'll literally vocalize that mantra. And it could be any mantra. Sometimes I just think of things on the spot. Sometimes we talk beforehand and think of, what is the intention for the session today? We want everyone to feel loved and supported. So what things come to mind? And I'll just write a couple of lines of text some affirmations, some mantras, and pair them with her pose. And we've done that. We've done that maybe 6 times. So this is still brand new.
Amazing.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to have to say that you're onto something very rich here, but I'm also going to have to say that too that you came to it with something very rich, and what you came to it with is you came to it with a sound, um, and I'm going to tell you, I listened to your sound, and we are in a world nowadays where a lot of we're hearing a lot of artists perform, a lot of singers perform. Many of the singers we hear perform have not um, have not trained a lot, um, or perhaps though they may have trained, maybe they didn't have the kind of really good coaching, the kind of really good technique to be able to create a sound that. And what I'm hearing that sound coming from you. I'm hearing the sound that reminds me of the kind of sound, the kind of complete, as I call it, Roy G. Biv, all of the colors of the spectrum that Roberta Flack could get. And that's a very special thing. It's a very special tool to develop when you have that sound, when you can actually create all the colors of the spectrum. Because when you can create all the colors of the spectrum, then you don't need a band. You don't need a band. You don't need a band because the band is already there. The band, you got all the flute players, all the horn players, all the bass players, everybody's there in the sound of the voice. So you have that sound. It takes a while to develop that. So I imagine there are some people who, in some cases, are born just doing that. But it takes a while to develop that. It takes a body of knowledge to go into that. It takes some years and years, or should I say, hundreds and centuries of bodies of knowledge to go into that, because people, as you know, who aren't trained will go into that and damage their voices or any kind of number of things what happen to them if they think that they are just, oh, we're just going to do this. Some people have an intuitive sense, but in general, the sound that you have, as I say, is a complete sound. And what was the path by which you developed that sound?
Mm. It was so you speak on training. I had so much training that I did not know what it meant to use my entire voice and to bring my entire self to a space. Because in training, especially in classical music, you are trained to bring what the conductor needs you to bring or what the composer needs you to bring. But if there's other stuff there, we don't need that. Leave that stuff somewhere else. In fact, only bring what is on the paper, right? If it's not on the paper, don't bring it. So it took me being out of grad school, not having a voice teacher, not having anyone coach me, having absolutely no musician feedback on my voice in order for me to fully embrace all these colors that you're saying I have, right? Because what you're taught in classical music is to not use very much, you're not supposed to use the chest voice. That part of the voice is not used as often. Especially in training, you're taught to not use it as much as you can. So the majority of classical singing is about singing in the head voice and in the head space. And so all of your singing is right here, and you never go down here because for some reason there's something wrong all of a sudden. You can't use your natural voice. Don't speak down there. Don't even speak. I had one voice teacher tell me not to speak this low because it will ruin my voice, even though this is my voice, right? So in classical music, we're often trained to not fully use the voice, to not experiment, to not improvise. You follow a script. So it took me being out of school, having no conductors, nobody working with me and managing me and dictating to me to come into this space. And I would say that also for spiritual practice, right? The opening of the spirit for me and the universal spirit that you feel that I had to release that, right? Because if I'm taught that I need to hold that back and that I need to conform and that I just show up to church and follow the text and go home, I'm not really releasing my full spiritual self. I'm not exploring other texts. I'm not exploring um, the use of my body and like somatic interpretations of text and words and yoga and meditation. We're not doing that, right? Unless you're an open minded, open soul kind of person. And so I came to become that after a series of serious traumatic events, which usually is the case. And when you come out of trauma, you heal yourself, you put yourself back together. So I went through a lot of putting myself back together. And in doing so, using all the ancient tools and the ancestral tools and the actual physical tool of my body, my bones, my soul, every part of me, and putting it all back together. Bringing myself back to oneness. And yes, so yes, it was a journey, and all of that information was a part of how I came to this space now.
Amazing. It's amazing too because you're using all that information and using the trauma experience and everything as something that guides you to now go into a healing path where you are where because nowadays you would think that because of the crisis the world is going through, you would think that the entire music focus would be toward healing. You know that would become a very important thing right now.
Right.
A couple artists are hearing that call, but it's still being driven by a lot of the music industry is still being driven by the same sort of drive for making the cash on whatever can sell, whatever is going to sell to the masses. And so there hasn't been really a drive in the way that one would think toward healing. Maybe it'll come. Maybe this will. Maybe the change for that is all. But you're on that path right now. You're doing that, and the effect of that last piece that you did is still in me. It's still in everybody that heard it, and that's the power of music. The power of music is that it goes. It's one of the only art forms that no one has a firewall to block. Music is going to go into your system, so the musician naturally has that responsibility because the musician is already a physician. The musician is already a physician. They're already operating on people. So the musician has the responsibility to know what kind of operating they're doing on people. They do. Um, and it's a reckless musicianship that says no. Whatever I say is whatever I sing or whatever I play is just whatever it is, and it's on you. It's on you. No, you're a physician. You're a physician. No one can throw up a firewall um, on whatever music that you're playing. So it is the musician's responsibility to realize all that and to embrace all that. And embrace it in a positive way. And it's so special to hear someone actually doing that. And I'm here. I'm able to listen to that last piece that you did all day long because if you're listening to it all day long, you continue to feel better.
Right.
And that, if anything, could be um, the point, one of the points of music right there, in a statement. You continue to feel better because music is a frequency, and it's a frequency that's been used to heal long before medicine was an idea. So, or should I say, long before modern medicine was an idea. So,
Right.
to hear this direction you're going in, it's really special, and and I can say that I don't think anybody can walk away from it not feeling moved in a positive way. Um, Wonderful. Would you be willing to share another piece with us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So this piece, I'll just say, this piece is. I do have a EP out that you can download on Apple Music, and the EP is called Jelly. She's coming, and I worked with a sound producer named Salah Ananse, and we created a series of songs set to electronic music. So I'm going to play one of those songs for you and also improvise over it. And that will also give you a chance to hear the song live. But you can look it up and download it. I will send you the information about where to get the song as well. So I will connect it here.
I want to be free.
Yes.
And I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that still spinning around in my system. I want to be free. The the effect of a mantra is so powerful. And you know, the artist can choose when they use the power of the mantra. They can choose how that's going to affect people, and
Mhm.
that is their choice. And of course there's so many other colors in between there, just how you phrase it, how you say it, what kind of expression, what kind of emotions behind it. All that is going to affect people. The statement, I want to be free. And I'm hearing that still in my system. And what I'm noticing too is that at times in that song there's a bit of the opera sound peaking up. But with you, one of the reasons why I have never been really able to be a fan of opera is because so many times opera sounded shrill to me. You know, I grew up in Detroit. I was used to hearing Motown. So if I heard somebody go really shrill high, then I couldn't sit through it. You know, Even though opera audiences would be happy with it, they'd be fine with it. I couldn't sit through it. I say, "Where's Smokey Robinson? Come on, please. Bring on Smokey. Come on. Bring on Aretha. Come on. We can't deal with this shrill stuff." Um, how are you able to use opera and not be shrill?
Oh, wow. Um, that's a good question. It takes I would say it takes a technique, incorporation of all the parts of the voice, like we've discussed. So, keeping away from the shrillness means that you're not moving your larynx too much. Right? So, this is the larynx, it's right inside the throat here. And sometimes some singers, their larynx is too active, and that's what creates that sound. So, knowing how to keep your larynx low and calm and relaxed is a type of technique. And knowing that technique helps to keep the shrillness away. It is something you have to really learn about your body and your throat and how to control and use the throat and the mechanisms of the voice. So it takes time. Not everybody has a smooth voice. Everyone has different voices, and I have the voice that I was given, and so here it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have uh, artists who you wanted or you enjoyed their sound so much they influenced you?
Yes, there are several. Jesse Norman is one of my favorites. Um, I also sang a lot of choral music, and in choir singing, you're taught to control your voice in such a way that you can smoothly blend with all the singers around you. So, in order to blend with singers around you, you have to have a good ear to tune into them, but you also shape your mouth and your throat in such a way that you create a really pure tone. And so I've done a lot of choral singing as well, and that can also probably what helps me to not sound as shrill, because in choir you cannot be squeaky and shrill. You can't stick out at all. It's all about creating unison. So, so yes.
That was one of the things that I remarked about and some people may have heard this, but the CDC came out with a recommendation about 2 months ago that people not be in choirs, that people not practice group singing together because supposedly that was going to, uh, now wait a minute, let me backtrack. The CDC also said a couple months ago that asymptomatic spread of pathogens for this pandemic was very rare. They said it. Then they got that call from some of their puppet masters, and they reversed their statement. No, they didn't reverse it. They said, "Oh, wait, it's too early for us to say anything about that." Okay, but they clearly said that asymptomatic spread is very rare. In other words, very like getting struck by lightning twice, very rare. So then they come out and reverse their statement after somebody called them on it. Most likely somebody who's floating their purse strings. But what they did, they made this statement about not recommending that people go into choirs, and I immediately caught the misinformation of it because the misinformation was the basic assumption that choirs were shouting at each other. The choirs were singing loudly and spraying each other. And I've worked with singers all over the place who work with choirs, and choirs are soft. Choirs are not spraying each other if they're really being conducted well. They're soft. They are not doing they're not doing nearly what some of these bogus videos are showing. There's all sorts of bogus videos showing, okay, this is what happens if I sing on front of this glass plate. Totally bogus, totally bogus. The only people who spray on glass plates are people who are involved in some kind of theater thing where they have to really project so loud. But as the vocal director of New School of Social Research, New School that is, wrote me back and he said, "No, singing properly done is about letting the air move around in the voice area and the chest area in such a way that it's not expelling out. It's cycling around and it's expelling less air than talking would." So the CDC, I think, put out something that was misleading in that way, and it may have an effect on choirs for quite a while because choirs are looking at each other and say, "Well, I don't know if we should all come together," you know. Meanwhile, on the other side of that, the immune boosting effects of singing are proven. Are proven. I just talked to a doctor who's doing research, and he said that he found the connection between building certain chemical, really healing chemicals in the body just from humming. He said there's a direct connection between there's certain chemical in the body or certain that is very healing for the body, and humming can build that chemical. If you were saying om, that chemical builds in your body, and it's very important chemical toward healing in the body. So these are all things that are really important. And you just mentioned choir, and you talked about the fact that you had to blend in a choir. So you're not going to be shrill. You're not going to be screaming over the top of a choir. And that's one of the things that I think people might be misled from the CDC statement and listening to what you just told us is you're blending with people. You're not shrill over the top of everybody to blend in a choir.
Right. Yes,
Amazing.
and I do know that some singers are working, like they're singing in places. I think there's even there's some kind of singers covering now that you can use. They have all kinds of things now, but a lot of singers are still working. they're just standing in different distances from folks, or they're standing behind screens, or singing outside. So there
Yes,
are a lot of solutions. But yeah, circular breathing. Yes, circular breathing is what good singers are taught to do. It's to
yes,
use the air, bring the air right back that you're
yeah,
using and
right.
circulate it back. Yes, absolutely.
And again, I want to harken back on what the CDC said, because the CDC, let's keep in mind, because this is what we have to do at Afro Roots. The CDC is a pharmaceutical corporation. It's a corporation that sells vaccines. They have a vested interest in making sure that people are moving toward the uh, the idea that they need to have a vaccine. So they have a vested interest in reading the science, which could be interpreted many number of ways in this direction. And they also have a vested interest in the amount of censorship that's going on of scientists who are debating the other side of the story. And of course, there is a big other side of the story. The big other side of the story is how much of our immune system gets boosted by us interacting with each other in that way, and how much of our immune system is in place to totally to totally counteract and keep us thriving through the fact that we are always breathing on each other. We are always sharing the same air. The air that someone releases tomorrow is somebody's breathing that same air in China tomorrow. So the reality of life is we are air. Air is us. We are not going uh, to be able to wall off air moving around us and sharing the air. We are not going to. It's not a possible thing to do, to wall that off. What is possible is to build our immunity and to understand how all of this is important to building our immunity. But I
Right,
but I will say that the CDC has no way to make money from that argument or from that side of the debate.
right.
Um, so I will make all those things clear to people right now, in case there's any question about that. That since the 1700s, at least, governments which are involved with imperialist organization, capitalism and imperialism, governments all over there have had a way of aligning their scientists and their clergy to speak lockstep on the same issues. This has been the case since at least the 18th century. So the concept of of pointing toward one read of science, silencing debate, and trotting forward unproven theories has been going on for hundreds of, at least 200 years now. Eugenics was that. Eugenics was trotting forward unproven theories and having a whole government get behind you on that, having corporations get behind you on that. So we have to realize what is going on and always take a back step and say, okay, but am I hearing every side of the story? Am I hearing every side of the argument? We've been here, and also, what does my intuition tell me? As a human species, we've been here for millions of years, singing in each other's faces. You know, and you mean to say that at a flick of a switch, somebody's going to say that that is now all of a sudden, not possible, or not a healthy thing to do? Um,
Mhm.
I have my reservations about that, especially from the voices it's coming from, the CDC and the WHO. I have my reservations about that. Uh, yeah.
Absolute.
So in the meantime, can you tell me who your most influential instructor was?
Yes, my high school choir teacher. Yep, my high school choir teacher, Dr. Lorraine Carter. I don't know if she is still living, and but she retired when I graduated, and she was the one who told me that I had a potential to sing classically, and that I should go to college
I
for music.
turned the volume off. And now,
Oh, we have someone who unmuted. So if your mic is open, just be a little careful there. Go ahead, continue, Malesha, please.
Yes. So it was in high school where I discovered that I could sing classically, that I had a vibrato and that I could start to learn opera. So, yeah, on one of my final exams in my senior year, I taught myself my first Italian art song, and I got a voice teacher who happened to be a neighbor in the neighborhood, and I started the path of classical training around 16, and it was because of my choir teacher. She also gave us a chance to sing at Carnegie Hall, and we got to see, Broadway shows. We got to go to Lincoln Center and do like a whole tour of New York in high school. We also got to perform in some really great cathedrals. And my undergraduate degree was also John Alexander, my choral director at the time. He was also a big influence. He gave me a lot of big opportunities to sing with the symphony, with the Boston Pop Symphony. He gave me a chance to sing with Hollywood Bowl Symphony, and it was my earliest teachers in like my youngest years of life. Those were the folks that really invested in me. Yeah, like between 15 and 25. Those were my great teachers. Hmm.
Amazing. Amazing. Can you tell us again what recordings you have out there so that people can look them up and get them?
Yes. So, should I try to share it into the chat? The
Yeah, but
link?
you tell us. I think Amanda or can share it into the chat. But you just
Okay.
tell us and
Sure. Yes. So Jaylee, which is the name that you have to tell me you inspired me, Kevin.
oh really?
Yes. Remember I told you the title of my EP project.
Yeah.
So I work with Salah Ananse. He is a Morehouse grad musician
Uh huh.
and DJ. And his parents were civil rights leaders here in Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he's very well known here in Atlanta.
Uh huh.
And he and I worked together and we formed this group called Jaylee. And it
Hmm.
was from you that told me um, that opera is not so much something that comes from Europe. Opera and the voice that I have comes from the ancient griot and Jaylee of Africa.
Well,
And
yeah. I mean, that's a story that people need to be aware of. They need to be aware that Southern Europe was basically under the rule of Africans, Moors, throughout up until about to about 1480, 1450, 60, 70, 80. That's about when the last Moorish ruler was deposed in, I think, Portugal or Spain. And that suddenly, out of the blue, Europe has what's called a Renaissance. Well, you look at my face. The Renaissance did not come out of the blue. The Renaissance did not come out of the blue. The Renaissance came from all these Moorish artists who were doing this incredible music and art and dancing and had all these instruments that they were bringing into Southern Europe. The guitar, kitara, which comes from Africa. All these different horns and flutes, all these drums, all these rhythms, all this music that they were bringing in with them to Southern Europe. And so the Jelly, who have been involved with music for thousands of years, uh, are basically throughout West Africa. West Africa has many jelly families, but certain jelly families pride themselves on the art of singing. And in the art of singing among the jelly griot families, if you hear them even today, you can go to Africa and hear the jelly griot families. They can stand in the middle of a football field and they can sing, and you can hear it in the bleachers very well. And they are not hurting their voices because they start singing from when they start training. They're in a family of singers. They're all trained, but they're trained naturally. They're trained fluidly. They're trained in their community style, and they're with their parents and with their family, and of course, singing is so much part of their life that they're doing it everywhere they go. Uh, there's one artist who became very well known for here all over the world who was not a jelly. He was not a jelly at all, but he learned the jelly style. His name is Salif Keita. Salif Keita had a lot of hit songs, and you can still hear Salif Keita's hit songs. His hit songs are very popular in Europe, even in the United States. But Salif Keita took on the jelly style. He took on the jelly style of singing. He's one of the rare instances of somebody who's not in the jelly family, not born in the jelly family, who learned how to sing in such a jelly style that, because people said Salif Keita used to stand in the middle of a football field, yeah, you could hear him singing, very well, and he had a huge range. But this is the jelly style. This is what jelly families grow up doing, and they've been doing it for a very, very long time, long before Italian opera and long before all these things. So this was opera before there was any opera in Italy. But of course, we know too that before there was opera in Italy, there was Moorish rule. We know that there was Moorish rule throughout Southern Europe,
Right.
and that there was Moorish arts, and we know that opera didn't come out of the vacuum. So with jelly singers being all throughout West Africa, and of course traveling into Southern Europe and bringing their arts with them to Southern Europe, then we see clearly that there's the path. There's a logical path for where opera is born, and also flamenco singing, and any number of things. Um, the logical path, but it's a history that very few people have written. Ivan Van Sertima has dived into it. A couple other authors have dived into it, and began it, but very few people have written it because, of course, the storyline, according to a lot of the European, or should I say, Eurocentric view, was that everything began with the Renaissance. That basically the lights were out, and then suddenly the Renaissance happened and the lights went on. Well, the likelihood that that's the case is slim and none, you know, and the likelihood that it has to do with artists who were coming from ancient practices from Africa for thousands of years that were helping create and helping to form that art scene is very high. Um, but the writers who have, have done that are not really getting the exposure, and they're not really getting the embrace from the university system that you would hope they get.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, so that's why I said jelly. Basically opera is grown from jelly singing. Opera is grown from jelly singing. It's you know,
Yes.
yeah,
And so that's the name of our project together. Is called Jelly, and the title of the EP is She's Coming. And
amazing.
yeah, so you can find that it's on YouTube, so you can hear it. You can download it on Bandcamp. You can also find it on Apple Music. If you have Apple Music already, you can type in Malesha Taylor J. and it will pull up the songs. Yes. So
Beautiful.
I Want to Be Free, the song I sang today, is on that album.
Great, great. All right. Can you do another song for us?
Sure. Let me
All
think.
right.
Does anyone have any special requests? Sometimes people say,
Well, here's a special request. Maybe it's time for you to do an improvisation.
do something improv.
Yeah, feel free, or do whatever else you want.
No, of course.
All right.
Yes. Yes, yes. All right. Let's see. I'm going to improvise as Kevin has suggested. Um, some I'm going to do something a little more jazz. Do-do. Da da do da da do da 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 My funny Valentine, sweet Caroline. my funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my Yeah.
That's beautiful. You
Thank
you started with improvisation and went to a a standard
Yeah.
song. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
My favorites.
even though you played a standard, because of the organic way you arrived at it, I there's something about what you do that tells me that you are not entertaining people.
Mm-hmm.
That you're not putting on a show.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about what you do that is not putting on a show? You know, what's happening there?
I'm channeling. I'm literally like I don't remember what happened, and I did not plan any of that.
Mhm.
I did not say, okay, this is what pieces I'm doing tonight. That just happened in the moment.
Right.
Yeah. And what I love about using this loop is that I can just start off with a musical idea, add layers to it, and see where it unfolds. And then maybe a song arrives, or maybe a poem arrives, or something comes to me in the moment in spirit, and I just let it manifest in that
Wow.
time.
Wow.
So, yes, when I do this kind of work, it usually is in a meditation yoga situation. I haven't. This is the first time I've done it live, welcoming others in, but I thought it would be good considering that we're having conversation on this platform and it's Zoom, we're in my home, so you get to feel a little bit of that organic connection. But live, it would be interesting to see what it would be like to do like a 1 hour show,
Hmm.
of just that,
Hmm.
and where it goes and how the audience might feed into it. And maybe people might want to offer text or offer ideas. Maybe it becomes a communal experience, you know? So, yeah.
Well, it's always powerful when a comedian is not trying to be funny. It's always powerful when an artist is not trying to put on a show. It's always powerful,
Yeah.
because what happens is that's the funniest comedians are the ones that are not trying to be funny or don't seem to be trying to be funny. They're just saying what they're saying, but they're finding the inherent funniness, ridiculousness of this everyday stuff that we're dealing with, and
Yeah.
artists who have some sort of focus. They're looking at something or experiencing something that is goes beyond the fact that they're relating with an audience. And so what happens is a larger experience. There, you experience something that is you don't feel like you don't feel like this person's entertaining you. You don't feel like they are trying to fill your time. You don't feel that way.
Right.
which
Yes.
is a great place to be. Are you involved with some sort of meditation yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I do practice meditation, yoga. I do restorative and yin yoga. Um, and I'm constantly, connecting in the subconscious mind to the universe, to the source, to my environment, listening and hearing from, all the information around me, all the souls that pass through me, my family, my kids, the trees, nature, all the elements. I'm hearing, I'm listening. It's like almost life just becomes one big meditation, you know, just breathing and walking through life, in a awakened mind state. Yes. And sometimes these soundtracks are happening in my head, and they manifest, they come out in song. But sometimes I have tracks like this just going on in my head through the day.
Yeah, that's that's important too, to have tracks like that going on through the day, because it makes you feel a very healed and very positive.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of positive energy throughout the day.
Yes.
It's amazing, you know, what the music of your mind can do. And I always have been saying that to people, is that that's your first path toward healing, is being really in touch with the music of your mind. Uh,
Yes.
be, yeah, you know, is there some point where you began to feel that the music of your mind the was an important issue?
Yes. Um, I was just thinking as you said that there's a time when you start to hear the music in your mind and appreciate it for what it is,
Uh-huh.
and accept this is the music in my mind, and then decide this music that is in my mind is worth sharing.
Uh, yeah.
Right? There's kind of different levels. Like first it's, oh, there's music in my mind. I don't know why it's there. There's some people feel shame about having gifts and music in their mind. Some people never share that they have gifts and music in their mind, right? And they keep it in their head and they keep it inside. And so there's an evolution, a series of steps that happens where you acknowledge that there's music in your mind, and then you start to feel like maybe I should share it. Maybe I should let
Yes.
it come out.
Now I want to catch you right there. That first step where you acknowledge there's music in your mind. In other
Yeah.
words, what I feel is that everyone has music of their mind, and the music of your mind is whatever the overall feeling of the sparkle that's at the root of your feelings, your emotions, the sparkle, the very sparkle that's at the root of the thoughts that arise, and that is the music of your mind.
Hmm.
Everyone has music, and to be aware of the music of your mind is to be aware of the fact that you can play that music. That music of your mind can be played. It doesn't have to be what it is. You
Hmm.
know, like you're saying, people get up and they say, "Oh, how are you feeling?" "Yeah, okay, I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling." Well, that's all something you can play. That's all music that you can play. You
Yes.
know, and so to be in touch with the music of your mind, and to first hear it, to know it's there. Like, oh, this is the music of mine, and I'm not talking about, you know, I'm not talking about no song. I'm talking about just the electrical vibration. That electrical vibration that is inside of you is the music of your mind. You
Yes.
know, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And did you want to elaborate on that?
No, and just like you said, so when you acknowledge it and you start to actually pay attention to it,
Yeah,
it starts to sound like an orchestra. It's like, oh, wow, I've got that kind of music in my mind.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
got that kind of music.
yeah,
Oh, and then you put the pieces together and you start to put instruments together or create the kaleidoscope. You start to be a composer,
Right.
right? And you're like, let me get my tools, let me get my instruments. What do I want to create? And you have a clean palette in which you can start to put colors together, put shapes, put messages, put all of those things that are coming through you together. But I think the next step after acknowledgement is um, enjoy, like appreciating that you have it.
Yeah.
Because it is not everyone. So yes, everyone has it, but you have to appreciate what it is that came to you.
Yeah.
Like not everyone has the same frequency. We don't all have the same vibrations. So whatever is coming to you, you appreciate that which came to you, that which you have been gifted with. And then you start to express it and put it to shape and share it.
Yeah.
And that's the other level, right? Like me feeling like, okay, I think this might be worthy of sharing.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will like this.
Yeah. That's what you hope that. You hope that from that's at the beginning, the hope that
I hope you liked what I just did. It
right.
wasn't a perfect song that someone wrote down on
Right.
a score and put a title to it and branded it, and a company picked it up and messaged it, right? It was just organically produced out of my mind and soul and
Yeah.
given to you. That's how it was
Yeah.
given,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it took time for me to appreciate it enough to share it.
So hearing all this and hearing the effect that it's had, where would you like for to go with this art form you're developing? And I'm going to backtrack before I finish that sentence, before I finish that question, that is, and say that I've heard a lot of people use the loop station. In general, loop stations have not impressed me, but in the way you use loop station, I'm impressed with that. I think you have a very artful way of using the loop station, and the the kind of, as they say, what you're putting into that station is causing some beautiful things to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so um, I'm I'm so impressed by the way you're using that loop station, you know. But what I'm saying is, you know, with all of this that you're doing now, this whole new uh, expression that's emerging in you, where are you going with this? Where do you feel it going? Where do you feel it?
Oh my
Where do you feel
God.
yourself taking this?
Oh, wow. I would love to take it to some kind of platform. I don't know what the best place is. I know that I am like, ideally, if I was singing, touring, it would be in a communal sacred space. It would be for a sacred communal purpose. That's the kind of setting that I want to create. You know, it actually reminds me of like, it actually, like the musical form that I most appreciate is like the Turkish um, Sufi, like just open prayer singing. You know what I mean? Just let it go. And then all this harmony kind of creates itself and kind of moves around the room, and everyone gets to come up and be a part of it and feel it with the singer. So I would love to do something like that, some sacred community spaces. I'm sure I could do some regular performances as well, but I really do like the feeling of having folks around, vibing and connecting as I'm singing. Like when I asked, does anyone have a request? If someone had said, oh, I really like My Funny Valentine, I would have created something that inspired, come out of that, or any kind of song, anything. Even if someone gave me a text, I'd want to take that text and create something out of it on the spot. But giving them the chance to share, right, and say, I'm feeling this, and me say, yes, let me echo that thing that you feel. Let's have a dialogue, you know. But yeah, where do I want to take this? I would love to have like what I don't even know, a tour. It would just depend who would come, who would appreciate it, how would it be, um, packaged. Could I do something like this for a whole hour and a half by myself? No drummers, no other instruments. You're nodding your head.
Yeah, yeah.
I know Bobby McFerrin used to do cool things, right? He does things with his voice, and I
Well,
know you do.
absolutely. And I'll quote Bobby right quick for you, and that's that he would say that before he walks out on the stage, he always pauses a moment to reflect. May this music heal someone out there. May
Mm-hmm.
this music touch someone in a positive way. But
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of musicians um, feel that way before they, and you just already echoed that earlier. Um, a lot of musicians feel that way. As you say, I hope you like it. May this music touch people in a positive way. May this
Yeah.
music heal people. You know, and it's really central to the process of a musician. I think the process of a responsible musician, that central beginning prayer, that beginning thought synapse that, okay, may this music have a positive effect, because when it goes out there, of course, nothing's stopping it. It's going, it's going, it's going, it's going.
Right.
So let's send it out there to do all kinds of positive work while it's traveling out into the universe and spinning its way out to the stars, even. you know
Mm-hmm.
um, let's send it out with a positive intention, which is really special, really special. You have the tool. You have a tool which you can do so many things with. So definitely, think about the idea that, yeah, I can do 2 hours, just me. Just me,
Yes. Yeah.
just me,
Just me.
right?
Man, I have some ideas now, though. I'm starting to think about what I can do now that we're also digital. I'm
Well,
sure there's some things I can do.
and something new is getting ready to happen.
Hmm.
Something new has to happen.
Hmm.
We can't walk back to the same things that we were doing last year.
Hmm.
We can't. We literally can't. So the new has to emerge from this. The new
Hmm.
has to emerge from this, and even with that, what we just said, that initial prayer, can this, hope someone likes this, can this heal someone, can this have a positive effect? Even that, talks or points to the fact that something new is going to have to come out. You know, there'll have to be a new structure. There'll have to be a new focus. There'll have to be a new thing that's happening, and you're already on that wavelength. You're on that wavelength to for that new thing.
Hmm.
So to be able to, envision anything around that, whether it means I'm doing a concert all by myself, or whether I'm, doing this at some other kind of venue that people are not used to, these kind of venues, but this is now the new venue. You know,
Hmm.
um, all these things are part of the new change, the new world that's going to have to be born out of this, and it's going to have to be a world that's more free, more just, more kind, more loving, more accessible than
Right.
the world that we left, the world that literally left only 8 months ago. You know,
Right.
so it's not like we're going back. We're going forward, but we're going forward, and we're going to let go of some of those things that weren't serving us.
Right.
Right? You know, um, is there anything you'd like to say or do before we close the show out?
Um, No, I don't mind hearing from folks if there are questions, thoughts, comments. But no, I'm good.
Okay. Well, that's a good idea. If anybody has a question out there, feel free to ask it now. Just let us know. Or you can just butt in here the question, as long as it's polite. You know, and if there's no questions, then I'm going to again repeat and ask Malesha to repeat where we can find your music at, where we can find you at. You know, repeat that please for people. And it's in the chat already, but go ahead and repeat it because we always have to put it out there again.
Absolutely. Yes. So, my name is Malesha Jessie Taylor. If you type my name into Google, you will see everything. You will see my Facebook, which is Malesha Taylor, um, Malesha Jessie Taylor. On Instagram, I'm Malesha Taylor. On I am on Twitter, but I'm on Twitter as Muse Salon. So I run a nonprofit organization. I do consulting, arts consulting for equity. So I have a organization called musesalon.org where I work with arts organizations, as well as you'll see a lot of the music that I have done in the past. You'll see all of that on my website as well. So, yes, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm also on LinkedIn if people use LinkedIn. Malesha Jessie Taylor. Everywhere. I'm everywhere.
Yes.
I have a TED talk. As soon as you pull it up, you'll see I have a TEDx talk called What Do You See? So if you type into Google, you'll see my TEDx talk. If you go into YouTube, you'll see my TEDx talk. You'll also see Jaylee and some of that work. So I am all around.
Great, great.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Malesha. It's been such a pleasure having you with us for Afro Roots. When we go live back at God of Riverside, we will definitely try to have you with us live too, because we are looking forward to going live. And as soon as they give us the green light, which will probably be in a few months from now,
Yes.
we will go back live. Um,
Beautiful.
and and it's been such a great experience having you here with us. We will keep in touch and we will keep putting the word out about anything that you're producing or anything that you are want us to spread the word on.
Yes.
I'm
I, I have a new album coming out, so I'll send that to you.
beautiful. All right, we're so looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah.
And I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It's been a special night. I feel very healed. The music will continue to heal you because anytime someone has these positive mantras, they start going into your subconscious mind. They keep coming back to you like a positive mantra and uplifts you every time.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to thank Amanda Hopper with God at Riverside. Thank you, Amanda. And I want to thank Nelly Gomez with God at Riverside. Thank you so much, Nelly. And I want to thank, and I also want to thank Gregory Cage, who I didn't thank earlier today, but Gregory Cage, who's been the sound engineer for Afro Roots Tuesdays. We haven't had to have Gregory on board because we're on Zoom, but he will be on board when we go back to live, and we will go back to live. Um, so I want to thank Gregory Cage. I want to thank again everybody who's donated in any way to Afro Roots Tuesdays. I want to thank all the people for coming out tonight, and we will be back in 2 weeks. I think the date we'll be back will be November 10th, and we will have another very great international artist with us on that date. So please, if you're not on the mailing list, send me an email to kevinmbira@hotmail.com. I think that's in the chat. Um, but you just put Kevin Mbira, Mbira is one word, and then hotmail.com. And you'll send me an email. You're on the mailing list right away. You'll get all the information. And with that, I want to again thank everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful night, and thank you so much, Malesha.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank
we
you.
will we will
Thank
see
you
you
for
all
having me.
again.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Nelly or Amanda. You take it away.
everyone. Thank you for coming, everyone. We really enjoyed. listening to your music. Have a good night and stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.